can talk about it. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can talk about it.
West Side. Yo. Welcome to the Backroom Speaks podcast. The brave space for creatives. It's the only brave space for creatives.
Did you ever find another one?
I never found another one. I really didn't. But, I mean, we still looking. I'm Law. This is my faithful, great, awesome co-host.
I'm Lisa, and the Backroom Speaks is still looking for an alternative co-host to replace.
Starting over, man.
You can talk about it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I guess they're going to kill us. But... This is, I guess, since we got your pastor on today, we're not going to say Cocaine Bennett.
Well, you just said it.
Does your pastor know your rap name?
Pastor, I'm not a rapper.
Her rap name is Cocaine Bennett. And she's taking the world by storm. It's episode 10, guys.
I hate it here. I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Episode 10, last or 2 weeks ago now, I said at the end of the episode that we were gonna be back if we've been saying a lot of death. Unfortunately,
I want you to really ease into how we're gonna say this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I handle grief different, but my wife's father died 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so that was tough. We buried him last week, and the night of his funeral, my uncle, 40 years old, massive heart attack.
Jesus. Oh, man.
Crazy. On its way to a video shoot in a car. So we said 2 weeks ago, if no one else dies, we'll be back.
And lo and behold,
we didn't come back.
We had to take a
It's been a tough week. So we took a week off, but I'm ready to pod. Yeah. Number one. And, all things considered, we're okay.
All is well.
We're good.
Praise God for that.
Yeah. Like we made it to episode 10, which
should have been
last week. We're crazy excited about this. Doing this for free. We're gonna talk a little bit about that too. But we're excited. We're celebrating. We're going out.
Maybe
Lisa's gonna perform. Cocaine Bennett's gonna perform. And we're gonna be happy. Outside's open.
Outside
for some reason.
But as for me in my house, we will still be wearing our masks.
Yeah, man. I went to.
I'm not fooling.
I went to church, man. Some people was kind of like, it was maskless, and then I was like, all right, let me stay behind this drum cage. But yeah, outside's open. I hope everybody's still being safe.
Please.
For sure.
Are you getting vaccinated?
Yeah, so I hope everybody's being safe.
Tabled.
No, we might. Me and my wife are talking about it. We'll see. My mom's vaccinated. Her mom's vaccinated. My pops is like.
I'm halfway. I get my second shot later this week.
Half vax Cocaine Bennett. I like it.
The Backroom Speaks is still looking for an alternative co-host.
Oh, guys. I love it. Listen. Right. So
email me, please.
This episode, I was excited about this episode because
you finally get to dig into something,
man. And then we have guests. I always love when we have guests. Even in just episode 10, we've had like 20 guests so far. If you count episode 1,
technically just about
Episode 1 had like 30 on its own. But this one in particular, I was really excited about because if we remember episode 2 is called Put Some Respect on My Name. Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be a continuation of that.
Really?
Uh-huh. Except I'm not going to be going off on people this time.
Hot take Larry, ladies.
We got guests for that. No, but put some respect on my name from creatives. And we have two creatives who we're gonna introduce to you guys in a moment. But myself, I feel like a lot of times as a musician, as a producer, or even as I'm not an artist, but artists, if you paint, if you're a photographer, we get taken advantage of a lot, a whole lot. And a lot of times we sit and let it happen. Let me tell you something. We ain't gonna be too nice for that long.
Just work here.
However, we also need to know how to be musicians and artists and photographers and be professionals. Because it's a double-edged sword. I know I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but we're gonna get into it. Our episode today, we're talking about the importance of music
in churches,
in the church,
in the church house.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I mean, there's nobody better to speak about this than
actual musicians and actual pastors.
Which is
very true.
It makes me extremely excited because our guests, and we still haven't introduced them yet, but we're gonna. Our guests
are pretty cool.
Yeah, that too. But we have a musician, music director, engineer, and we have another musician and pastor who I've been dying to meet. I hear about him from Lisa for the last couple of years, and also watch online sometimes.
Mercy.
After I'm done. So I'm super excited. Our first guest, once again, musician, organist, keyboardist, engineer.
He can sing too.
Singer. I've witnessed that. Listen, Jeremy Allen.
Hey, Jeremy.
Is his name. And it's really great how we met. We actually brought this up not that long ago. But it was under the worst circumstances.
Yeah.
But it was great because I'm an observer, if that's a word, right? And you watch how people move in spaces like that. I feel like you know how a musician really is in a terrible space. When they're in the worst space possible, and we were, I'm like, okay, that guy's solid.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Because we've seen a lot of people, we talked about that in episode 2 too. Like, you take your United Center, what do you say? Experience to the storefront, right?
Yep.
It's like how you carry yourself in what may be deemed as the worst gig in the world. Like, no, put your best foot forward there too.
In every place.
Right? But no, Jeremy Allen is his name. I appreciate you, Jeremy, for being on the show.
Thank y'all for having us. Yes, sir.
Little round of applause for Jeremy.
Man. Thank y'all so much for having us.
No,
having me.
We're happy.
Appreciate y'all. Yes, sir.
Easy call. And then our next guest, I guess Lisa's gonna introduce.
I can do that one. I'm really excited and really fortunate to have a pastor that just thoroughly supports me in everything. So Pastor Contrell Jenkins of the Lively Stone Missionary Baptist Church, 4938 West Chicago Avenue.
West Side.
Yes. I'm so grateful just to have my leader on here.
Super dope.
It's funny how I came to Lively Stone. I actually, a few years ago, I want to say back in 2017, MD actually called to fill in over there. And what I just thought I was just like going in to help out my brother turned out to be sowing seed for a place that I am actually a member of right now.
Don't you love when that happens?
I love it. God is just strategic in everything that he does. I say that all the time. But and one of the things that, drew me to the house, of course, was the mixed demographic. We have people my age, younger, older, and just how my pastor was able to have something for everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's something that a lot of places struggle with, just being able to have something for everybody and preach. And it was like the music was great. Pastor is a musician, so he cares a lot about that. The people were nice. I love the ushers. The Ushers. Those my homies.
I don't know if you hear that too often.
You don't hear that too often. Let me tell you something. And so, yeah, I just thank God for that process and how I ended up there, and I'm still there now. So,
I love the Ushers.
Hey, Pastor, thanks for coming on with us today.
Glad. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for having me. I'm so excited to share, and I'll be a part of this with such great creatives. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Easy. No, this is super dope. We were super excited about this episode. For a lot of different reasons, and just to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
A lot of people on our list to talk to when we were starting this podcast a year ago now. Yeah. We got a list of a bunch of people.
Maybe like 50 people.
And we're trying to figure out, okay, we know we want to talk to them, but out of our people and then our list of topics, like where we're going to put them in, like where we're going to kind of play, putting the pieces together and, try to plug them into an episode. And so we thought this was the greatest one of the greatest ones, because you have two different perspectives from both sides. Like, I mean, Pastor Jenkins, you can actually talk from both sides, as a musician and as a pastor or the leader of the house. And, we have a music director and an engineer and musician. And so you get that side of it. And we could, people are tired of hearing me and Lisa talk. Because I'm a musician, you know what I'm saying? I think I could pastor a church. No, I can't. I can't pastor a church.
God, please no.
But I don't know. I may try my hand at it. One day.
I'll burn it down.
Listen, you're going to be my pastor of music.
Go away.
Because that's what they are now. They're pastors of music. Listen.
God.
Okay, so we do have, we're kind of loose, but we do have an episode for you guys. And I want to start really just talking about you guys and what you do. I mean, because we can give, sing your praises and name all your accolades, but
all day. Jeremy first.
I know I said a few things already, but you're a music director at Victory Apostolic Church.
Yep, that's it.
Pastor Singleton.
Yes, sir.
He's a friend of my pastor, and I used to go there when I was a kid. It's far away from the west side, when I found out you were there, I was like, wow. But yeah, you're the music director there.
Yep. All right. So, first of all, again, thank y'all so much for having me. I count this a honor, a privilege, a mad joy, that y'all even thought a little old me.
Oh, come on.
I mean, look, I'm the type of guy where I sit over in my corner, behind the scenes as much as possible, and I do my little thing, and then that be it.
And then
so
make
to
jokes.
know that, well, yeah. So, shout out to my Facebook friends. Love y'all. But I count it a joy, y'all, and an honor to be here. A little bit about me. I'm a musician. I primarily play piano, organ. Like most piano players and organists, you start off on drums when you're a kid, because that's probably the first thing that you see when you go into a church, and that's the loudest thing that you hear when you go into a church. So quite naturally, that's what you want to do first. So start off on drums, play drums off of high school, through college. Shout out to Grambling State University down in Grambling, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. So, did all that, came on home. That's really when I really started to really get interested and explore my interest in piano. Been playing professionally now for about 14 years. Nice. Different churches, different ministries, different artists, just really any situation that, is a positive situation where I can gain something from it, where I can also give of my talent and give of my time and give of, the wisdom that God has blessed me with in my few short years of life. And just be a help to the kingdom. So like Laura said, I am the music director for the young adult music ministry at our church. I, along with my lovely wife, Charlize Allen, and my brother, Corey Barksdale, we all team up and we lead this passionate group of young people who just really want to make a difference, not only at Victory Apostolic, but really the entire kingdom of God, and really just doing it, one song at a time, one service at a time, one encounter at a time. Really blessed to be in that situation. Also, I also do produce as well, produce music. I'm also an engineer. Like Lisa said, I'm also a singer. I'm kind of retired. but I do what I can when I can with that. I work for an independent music production company by the name of Salison Media Group with my buddy, my homie Nick McCree. Shout out to my boy, my best friend, my daughter's godfather, all of that good stuff, man. He's definitely been a great influence in my life and just a great all around dude. So shout out to Nick McCree and SMG. That's pretty much it, y'all. I really just try to do what I can, lend a little bit of talent that God gave me, and really bless the people who I come into contact with. That's a little bit about me. Again, thank y'all so much for having me. Definitely looking forward to chatting.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Lend a little bit of the talent God gave. A little bit of talent. I love it. And then Pastor Jenkins, obviously, Pastor is in your title. But can you tell us just a little bit about you and what you do? Because I'm really intrigued at. You're also a musician as well, and I just want to hear a little bit about it.
Cool.
Yeah. So my name is Pastor Jenkins, Contrell Jenkins. Again, thank you for having me here. I get excited every chance I get to add value to people. I'm really passionate, especially the older I get, and to adding value to people as they add value to others. And so, I've been a musician all my life. Well, not all my life, but wanted to be a musician. But my dad actually put my sister in school first. Lisa, you might not know this, but they put Nisha in school first to play piano at Dolin Academy. My dad wouldn't let me learn how to play because he's like, I don't want you to learn trail because men, they tend to want to make a living out of it, and women would be more faithful. And so, of course, I did just what he said, because when she didn't work out after 6 years of piano lessons and she decided to quit, she was only going because he was making her go. Then I picked up the piano and I've been playing music ever since. And then I started pastoring about 7 years ago. I don't like to talk a lot about, what I do and done and stuff like that.
Super dope.
Just musician, pastor. Yeah.
Super dope. I appreciate that. And thanks for all of that. I'm really curious of a lot of things, especially from two people who've done so much, who've been musicians as long as you have. Because like I said, I can't, sometimes we tend to put our experiences on other people. And I feel like me just blabbering about my experience of what I've done, it gets old. I get tired of hearing it myself. I know what I go through, but that's why we wanted you guys on to give us different perspectives of what we're talking about. With the importance of music in church, this is a huge topic for all of us, I would assume, because we're all, involved in both.
Churches,
right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's a very needed conversation for both sides, both the church and musicians. And I think it's a healthy conversation for sure. Where we starting with, Lisa?
Trying to see what direction I kind of want to go in. I guess, and let me know if I'm jumping the gun a bit too much on this one, but we are, like we mentioned, that the world is sort of opening back up now, and this pandemic kind of stopped a lot of us in our tracks. Just in our vocationally, family life, everything. And I feel like one of the places that got hit pretty hard was church. Is one of the outside of like big stadiums like concert venues and all that other type of stuff, is the church. We saw like with churches closing, that meant people, of course, people couldn't gather for services. A lot of musicians were, of course, out of work as a result of that. And on the flip side of that, we've seen churches have to adapt to this new way of life, like, and act fast to stay relevant. A lot of churches that weren't tech savvy had to become that for the sake of retention of members, staying in touch with members, and still just providing that sanctuary experience, now virtual. And so I'm pretty sure you guys can both speak to two different sides of this, and whoever wants to jump in first. But how did the pandemic alter your response to church concerning music? Like, for example, having to become more innovative, more creative. What did that look like for your specific music department? Whoever can hop in if you want, but wherever you want to.
Okay. Okay. I'll go ahead. So before the pandemic, the music department, well, really Victory Apostolic as a whole, we were really trying to, I guess, get into the new way of kind of connecting with people. Of course, the church is huge. Yeah, that's cool. But there were a lot of people who were members of the church, and still are members of the church, but moved out of state. And so, we really were trying to figure out a way to stay connected with them, and not only stay connected with them, but to give them the same type of experience they would have if they were physically in the building, right? So honestly, I think the pandemic really just kind of lit a fire under us to really do it, and do it fast. Like you said, Lisa, I mean, it happened quickly. Like,
had to.
I'll give you just like a brief little backstory. So the pandemic and everything shut down. I think it was March 11th or March 14th. It was one of those 2 dates in 2020, right? A week before that, literally a week before that, I was on tour with Psalmist Rain and the Refresh team. We were in Memphis, Tennessee. We were in Memphis, and we were on tour. We were kicking off. Our yearly tour season, and we were there. I mean, I didn't know what coronavirus was, COVID, what any of that. I mean, we out here kicking it. I mean, having a good time in the Lord. At least 300-400 people in this one room. And I mean, literally a week before everything shut down, a week before, as soon as we got back, about maybe 3 days later, it was just like, boom, full stop, full halt. Everybody's done. Nothing is happening. Everything's closed. Don't go nowhere. Don't do nothing. Like, no travel, no nothing. It's all shut down. It was such a shock. It was such a shock that it caused us as a department to have to come together quickly and really just figure out, okay, well, we got all these members and can't nobody come in here. 2,500 seat auditorium, and we got to figure something out. So what happened was maybe the week later, we had to beef up all of our equipment, beef up our video, beef up everything, and really figure out. It honestly took about a month or so for us to really figure out, kind of how to get everything rolling to where it could be of good quality. So it was really a learning experience as we went along. And honestly, I think even to this day, we're still kind of figuring out week by week how to make things better as far as the virtual experience. Because now, even though things are still open, like now, a lot of churches, pretty much all of them, have really embraced the virtual experience to where it's literally become a part of the church experience. Period.
Yeah, I love it.
So I honestly, I do too. I really love it. I mean, it really caused us to, first of all, make what we do more precise, more intentional, because, it's different from sitting at a church service for 2.5 hours as it is having to sit in front of your computer screen and watch service for 2.5 hours. It's almost like, okay, what y'all doing? You got announcements that was an hour long. You got, you got all of that going on, where now it's like, okay, nobody's in this sanctuary. So, how can we still make the experience what it used to be, but in less time, so that we keep the attention of the people who are watching virtually?
Yeah.
So that was the thing that we had really quickly. And, I'd like to say that we kind of got a good handle on it, but like I said, it's still a learning experience from week to week. Just how this thing has really, really shaped what we do as a ministry as a whole.
I think it's a learning thing for everybody. Honestly, with Lively Stone, Pastor Jenkins, I was actually watching your guys' services before the pandemic on your live, and because my church, and I can speak for my church, we were trash at the virtual stuff.
Yeah.
And so when it hit us hard to try to figure out, and then some churches already had it rolling. Yeah. How was that for you, Pastor Jenkins? Because I feel like y'all had a seemingly good handle on it already. I mean, I enjoyed your lives on Sunday, but you guys changed as well, and made a lot of changes since then. Like, how was that for you?
Yeah, I would agree. Pandemic, I like to call it. I forgot who I heard say this. I don't like a quote without giving the person credit, but I cannot actually think who said it. I read so much. But anyway, one guy said, crisis is a great accelerator. Mm-hmm. All right. And I have to agree with that because of...
That's good.
When you look at the state of the church in virtual and that whole nine, this was already happening. The church is just always behind, late.
Facts.
Catching up with what's happening in our world. We're always late. What I loved about the pandemic, it forced the church as a whole to do what we should have did anyway.
Facts.
Right? If we're really trying
that's good, man.
Our goal is to reach people. Why wouldn't we be doing online church, right? If that's our goal. If our goal is to reach and save as many people as possible. But you had those that was saying, hey, man, I've heard people say, man, don't put a lot into that online stuff. If you do that stuff, man, they ain't going to come to the building. Well, they ain't coming to the building no way. It's already on the decline. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I don't want to, I can talk too, so I don't want to keep a lot of time. But I would say it accelerated, this pandemic has forced people who did not want to embrace virtual, the same people that saying don't go online, now they saying, hey man, we got to get online now. And there's a lot of churches were behind. A lot of churches were behind, did not put any investment into virtual service, did not even give attention to those viewers, those people who are logging on to watch the service. Now they have to. And so for me, we were already on that whole thing, kind of thinking, God, I kind of saw this, but again, as a leader, you be ahead, but then you got to come back and bring people where you at,
Yeah.
And so that whole thing,
tough.
Yeah, can be tough. But the pandemic caused us to be creative now. Of course, we've upped, as Jeremy was saying, took us a while to kind of figure it out, and we're still figuring it out. But we had to make purchases, update our equipment, get the best possible. We don't have a budget like Victory Apostolic Church, but with the little we got, we tried to
Victory Apostolic Church don't have a budget like Victory
effective and bring the quality.
I love it. I love it.
And try to bring the quality that's, just to answer to the question. Yeah, the pandemic has definitely forced, us and the church as a whole, I would like to say, not just Library Stone, but the church as a whole, to be more creative, more innovative with getting the word out, up in our music. Whereas, people didn't care how they live sound because they were inside the church.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. No, they did not.
But now when you go back and watch it now, and this is all people are watching, you don't want to be presenting, with less quality, and you just got your cousin running the cameras and got you doing the sound, and you really got to have quality, Yeah. So yeah. All
Listen,
right.
You don't know my story, okay? And all the things that I've been through. Because I'm so serious. Because like when I'm like, and I don't want this to sound the wrong way, because it's not an arrogant statement at all. And I don't mean it in an arrogant way at all, but I'm like the guy at my church, right? So like nobody else, and not of any fault of their own, but like nobody else really cares that much about these things. And so like I am pushing on my like now I'm getting them to spend some money, right? Like we got to spend some money to get some stuff. Now we spending the money. Now we got to get somebody to
run it all.
To run it, because I can't be everywhere at the same time. And so like we're still not even halfway to the goal where we need to be. I'm thankful that, I have somebody listening to me and, able to, take whatever I'm trying to say and at least adhering to what I'm saying, getting the things we need. But it's a crazy process and it's an uphill battle. To that point though, because having someone listen to me in the leadership position, my pastor, who I respect him.
That's a good dude.
I respect him. He's second to my father. As far as people I respect, but I also want that same respect from him. Getting that, I'm just saying, I want that same respect from him. And I see a lot of times in churches, that's not really a two-way street sometimes. In situations that I've been in, right? And so it's really imperative that relationship is there. Pastors should see what I do as important, just as I see, what he does is important. My question is like, with you guys, what did I have? Like, what is the way music should be seen versus what it actually is, if that makes sense. And I'll kind of explain that a little bit because I'm a little slow, right? But I feel like there's a perception of how important music is in church, right? And then there's exactly how, especially during this pandemic, because now we talked about updating our live streams and things like that. Let me tell you something. The music better be all right too.
That's true.
Right? Now we've seen, even though so many musicians were out of work when pandemic hit, some of them got a job. Because a lot of pastors or churches were dishing out the money because now this needs to sound good and look good. Right? Yeah. So, but everybody don't think like that. I think everybody kind of looks at it, that's not that important. We only focus on the word. And I'm fine with that too. Whatever. But my question, again, is like the importance. What is it how important is it really versus how like the overall perception of it? I really hope I'm making sense because
It's a tough question.
It makes sense in my head.
No, you make perfect sense, man. So I think with one of the things that I've seen and I've even experienced myself as a musician and as someone who actually does it on a professional level. I mean, because sometimes you have your volunteers, you have your whosoever will let them comes, and then you have the ones who who actually takes the time to make this a craft and make it an art and also make it a profession. I think a lot of times, and I've even experienced this myself, where when you are a professional musician or you're a church who has a team of professional musicians who first and probably worst are most of the time not members of your church. Even I myself, personal testimony, before Victory Apostolic Church, I had not been a member of a church in upwards of 10 years, but I was playing for all these different churches. I mean, in church every Sunday under somebody's organ, but I was not a member of any church until Victory Apostolic. So I think what happens in those situations is that the musician is the music, or the relationship between the music and the church is an employer-employee relationship rather than the musician or the team of musicians being a part of the ministry. Mm-hmm. And if you're not a part of the ministry, then it's only going to look, feel, and actually sound and come off as, well, this is a job, this is a gig, and this is how it sounds. Which means that this is only going to be entertainment. This is not going to be ministry, because I'm not personally, and I'm speaking as myself as a musician right now, I'm not personally invested in this ministry any more than just, this is a job for me, this is a paycheck for me. As long as I know my music and I play it right, that's all I need to do. But, if I can just speak to all of the musicians who are listening here, and I know that, sometimes situations don't always work out this way, but if at all possible, be a member of the church that you play for. It makes your experience so much more fulfilling to actually be invested and rooted in the ministry where you serve at every week anyway.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, the importance of how the music ministry is looked at now in the ministry, or how it should be looked at, is ministry. Music should be a part of the church, of the ministry, as opposed to just the entertainment portion of it. Mm-hmm. It has to be looked at. It has to be looked at as ministry because it is a part. A big part of what it is that you do, and the people can see it. The people can see it.
It's a difference.
They can tell the difference between the ones who are up there ministering versus the ones who are up there working. They see it. They see right through it. We may think that they don't because, we so dope on our instruments, or, we can make the church shout for 45 minutes, or we can send the church into a frenzy, or we can play all the warfare we want to, or we can we can literally command the atmosphere with just a change of the chord. But they see right through all of that. If they see right through that, if you're not up there ministering as opposed to just up there working.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
I really want to hear Pastor Jenkins on this. I want to hear the other side now, or from the other side, rather.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the question was, I want to be clear, and Jeremy kind of cleared it up in his answer, but how it's portrayed versus how it should be portrayed. Music, the importance of it. And I think you did a good job answering that, even though I asked it wrong, because the way I think is kind of crazy. But
I got it though. I totally understood it. So it was definitely, it was all good.
But yeah, I would say there's no question of the importance of music in church. If you look at, it's not easy. It's not hard to actually see the importance of it just by looking at anybody's order of service. If you look at their service and you time their service, see how much music is going on in that service, and that would tell you how important that is. Right? So any pastor, and this is how, musicians got to communicate that to them. Just let's even from old school long service, when you were in service 3 hours, how much music was played in that 3 hours?
Yeah.
All right. How much music actually was played, and how much preaching or testimony, and was music behind a testimony? Was music behind? Every place music was at in that service will show you the importance. That ain't the argument. Here it is. Yeah. If it's me being leadership, I'm big in leadership. I'm big on leadership. When it comes to the importance of music, let me say, if the leader don't value it or see it as important, it ain't gonna listen. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you show them video. It all, my mentor teaches me everything rises and fall on leadership. So if that pastor value of music, he's the leader. How you gonna outgrow his value if he don't value quality, if he don't value excellence, and not really willing to put money and invest and all that into it? It ain't gonna be nothing you can do. And I've been doing this a long time. I done had fights with pastors trying to get them to see how important it is. And now at 46, almost 47 years old, I learned if that pastor don't see it, you can hang it up, bro. You can hang it up, and it ain't gonna happen.
So the
music ministry will never outgrow the value that the pastor or the leader places on the music ministry.
So good.
Oh, you got to say that one again, brother.
That's so good.
Woo. You got to say that one again. Oh, that's good.
Okay, so that just kind of triggered me a little bit.
That's so good.
That's so good. Here's my question to that. And I think it may be on the docket here. It actually is. Because I feel like some people, yes, there's no question how important music is to the church. It's a very huge part. And you talk about leadership. I agree with everything you said 20 times over. But that's not always the case. And I want to know why, right? Because I feel like when it's good, it's good. When the leader is on board, it's amazing. Your experience is great as a musician. Yeah. Then sometimes we go to those places, which is probably why we end up leaving those places, and it's not so sweet. A lot of people have a hard time putting value or recognizing the value in music in the church and the musicians and the singers. And I think, and I've been in those situations, and I'm pretty sure both of you as musicians yourselves, probably, I don't want to speak for you guys, but I would assume you probably been through that where it didn't seem like they cared up top. I know with my pastor, I talk to him, that's my guy. He's my leader, and I respect him as that, but we have an open line of communication. Even though he may not be so advanced in his thinking, he has an open ear to talk, right? To listen, rather. Listening to you, Pastor Jenkins, I'm hearing like you value that. But what about that pastor that doesn't? And the million other pastors that don't? Why is it so hard to recognize the value, the high value in music in the church for a lot of pastors or churches? I don't know if that's a question you guys can answer, but I'm curious to what you may think about that.
Well, man, that's a great question. Let me say that. That is a great question. I can only base it off my experience. So I have 4 brothers that were pastors. So I've been around pastors my whole life. Mm-hmm. And so what I will say is, I know this is about music, but just to give a whole overall perspective, every pastor have something that they value in ministry. They have, let me use this word, they have a strength zone. They have a focus that they're really passionate about. They'll spend money on. I'm talking about like you know what I'm saying? What they value. So I've seen this, man, modeled throughout so many leaders, whereas like some leaders value youth ministry more than music ministry. And probably because that pastor was a youth pastor first before he became a senior pastor. So when he get in there, the first thing he's thinking about is, I'm finna up this youth ministry, man. He gonna hire youth pastor. He gonna buy games and, you know, everything that's gonna make that youth ministry appealing, and you're going to see money there. You're going to see value there. He's going to be bringing in youth workers, youth leaders, sending people to youth conferences. He's going to be spending money in that because that's what he values. There are other pastors I work with, man, who value their building. Man, my God, they would spend money into, you know, making it look beautiful.
My God.
All like that, man. But, man, and then you got those that value, you know, evangelism, you know, that where they gonna wear the suits, they gonna wear the shoes, they gonna get the car, all like that, because of they evangelists. They go out and preach, and their image is everything to, you know, where their strength at. Yeah. So like, I had many frustrations working with these kind of pastors trying to force my values on them. I'm coming from a music perspective. This cat is a youth cat. This cat is a building. Like I'm thinking of one pastor in my mind. I ain't gonna say their name, but I would be like, man, bro, they got this. They wear tailor-made suits every week. Gators, you know, all back then. But then, man, the organs suck. I can't even get my pedals fixed, man. I can't even get my pedals fixed. Like I'm gonna use myself as an example. Like I have some people at my church that talk about me for how much, like I done bought cameras. I mean, I get roasted, man. I get killed. I spend money but it's cause, and I explained it. This is what I value, because like I'd rather have, I'm gonna be honest, this is me now. Let me be 100. I'd rather have, like, my window may not be fixed properly, or the pews may not be, the walls may not be painted. But man, my sound system gonna be killing. So, hey, they be like, they come to my church, they be like, man, it's raggedy in there, but them niggas are not killing, man. The walls, they need to paint the walls.
I love it.
Walls. But then the organ, the drum, they got a brand new drum set. The mic, they got
just close your eyes. Just close your eyes.
I love it.
So, but that's because of, again, it's clear when you come in my church that I value music. You go in another church, and so it's hard, man. That's what I'm getting at. It's hard communicating your value to that pastor when his values may be someplace else. So how do you do that? It's tough. If you got a great relationship with him, like you said you had with your pastor, that can be very instrumental. If you have influence with your pastor, it's key into where he might not have value. Like, because there are certain areas that I don't have values in, that I need somebody to come alongside me and say, hey, man, you need to step it up here. You're not good there. And boom, boom. So I think that's going to be key. And communicating the importance. But like certain things, like to me, like, you know, especially, you know, the cameras and the music, right now, that's got to be like at the top. Like,
Yeah.
We'll get it painted later. Right now, they need to be able to hear and see us clearly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's good.
I love it.
You bring up a valid point, Pastor, and I think I could like dump some insight here just as like a kind of consumer perspective and also as a person who's had to work in a couple different churches. During the pandemic, I actually picked up a job, actually consulted my pastor about to release me to go and help out a music department that was struggling in ways that we weren't. And it was a opportunity for me to help raise up just a struggling department. And so one of the things that I was able to teach the pastor that I was working with was he was concerned that the experience of the music one Sunday was just not great. The sound was bad. The singers were acting like they couldn't hear. He was very image oriented about you need to look like you're having a good time, all this other type of stuff. And even just the sound of it, y'all know how it goes. Like when you can't hear in your monitor, you sing different, or when you play different. Yeah. I can't see what the director's doing, like placement, all of that stuff matters. And it took somebody to come, a stranger to come into his situation. He's like, this wasn't good. We brought y'all in to do this. Why isn't this right? Mm-hmm. Well, sir, your monitors are burnt out. Well, sir, your singers need a little bit more training. Well, sir, the sound is just not great up here, or maybe the way that you have the instruments placed, it's just not good here. And it took somebody like that struggled within their situation to say, okay, now I have to give these people the resources that they need so they can perform their job effectively in this setting. Yeah. And I think that that's another portion of it too. A lot of people that are like ignorant to, what could be a great situation, will never know until somebody tells them. So they could be thinking that they're having a hallelujah good time and they just need some help one day. And it's just like,
I know they be thinking that.
Then somebody else comes into that situation. It's just like, this is not right, and this is how you can make it better. And a lot of people just don't have like that wise counsel, or again, like you spoke about, like the leadership situation, have those strong moments or people in leadership to say, hey, our ushers need some training. Hey, we need to revamp this sound. Hey, our singers need, new rep, like that type of thing. So I wanted to bring that up because that wore me out a little bit.
That's good. Great perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I say, to where I serve at my church as MD, and I tell my singers all the time, what we're doing is just as important as the priest's word. So we need to match that. Like, I don't think everybody sees it that way, and that was the reason for that question. I don't think everybody sees it that way, and it works for. I mean, honestly, like my uncle got a church. They still haven't gone back in their building yet, and they're on their couch, and they pray and he preach. Well, he's more of a teacher. He's not a hooping guy, right? So he just sits there and teach. That works for a sector of people, I guess. People watch it, I guess, you know what I mean? Or their members watch it. But for me, I mean, I say this all the time. I was telling my wife the other day, like, if I was a kid still, had not been for my love for music, I wouldn't be caring about who God is. I don't think I would. I don't think I ever would. I mean, granted, I've been in church my entire life. But the thing that drawn me...
Legit. That's legit.
I was trying to get up to the drums. And then I was going back home playing my drums or whatever I can use that. And then
playing what you heard.
I would literally... Y'all don't understand me, though. I would open up the cabinets. That was my choir. And I was direct... Like, it was insane. I probably shouldn't have said that, but
you.
That's how
we all been insane.
We all been there, bro. We all been there.
That's and take that away. I don't care about church when I was a kid. Then of course my relationship with God grew after that, but now that I'm so, like, I'm in it now. It's like now I'm an adult. I'm still at my home church from when I was a kid or when I was 8, right? I'm 30. Mm-hmm. And now, as I get older, I'm seeing, okay, these things need to change. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going and play other places. I'm hired for other events, and I'm seeing how they moving over there, and I'm like, oh, it's a little different for me at the crib. It's like, why isn't it like that? And I'm seeing people, some people are like, really, you can tell they're investing money. And as Pastor Jenkins said, like, everybody has that strength. I love the way you put that. Because now I see it. Now that you said it, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what dude over there doing. Yeah, I see what he's over there doing. So I think it's important that we understand, number one, it's very important. You need to invest in it. It's not going to just fix itself overnight. And I come from people who say, look, God going to fix it. Look, let me tell you something. Okay, God been gonna fix it for a long time. All right, I'm not. I literally no. I'm serious. I gotta sit my mama down sometime on that. She was God gonna listen. Yeah, I know God gonna turn around. Yeah, go shout on that over there. But my Billstein. Okay, anyway. I love it. I really appreciate. Where you going, G? Because I'm gonna sit there.
Oh my!
I've behaved myself this episode. I want to be very clear. If you guys haven't watched the podcast, just watch this episode that come out Thursday. Don't swipe to the left.
I actually watched the one when y'all did the battle.
Oh, that was great.
Okay. The 80s, the 90s, with the hip hop and all like that.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
Yeah, that was cool.
That wasn't a bad one, Pastor. Don't watch number 2. Don't watch 4. I'm pretty sure I said a bad word. I said a few bad words in episode
pray for
2.
Lisa, man.
I was out of control.
We were nervous. We were nervous about having you on here.
Sorry. Look, been in the pocket. Let me tell you something. I'm like, I gotta chill, man. My pastor on here, man.
That is all right.
This was something that we wanted to cover. It's something that's important to us too, as like he said, he's the musical director at his church, also on the West Side. I do music in my church, and I do music in other churches too. But this is something that we're both passionate about. That we've both had opportunities to either, aid in the transition of, or just be part of really, valuable moments in music, or not sometimes. So, I'm excited for this one. I was really excited for this one.
For sure. We're gonna wrap this up soon, right?
Soon.
But really quick, where do you see it going? And just because right now we're kind of getting to the getting on the other side of this pandemic. We've seen a whole lot of churches, like you guys, even had to. Kind of step a lot of things up, and still working. I know, gosh, this is an uphill battle I wasn't ready for. But it's something that we're continuously, trying to improve, that virtual experience, right? I tell my singers all the time, like, this is very important. This is how, listen, you draw people with the music.
Facts.
A lot of people, like I said, that was really my point in saying, like, if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't care. A lot of people will walk out your church if the music sounds trash. And I know me, a 30-year-old me, right, would, because, yeah, it's trash. So with everybody now, it seems like a lot of people are taking it a little more serious. Mm-hmm. Or a lot of churches are like kind of going away because they couldn't keep up. And that's unfortunate. But like now that we've seen all this and during the pandemic, a lot of people invested, some didn't. What does this look like 10 years from now? Like do you see like there's going to be like this crazy renaissance of like churches just killing it with their virtual church or, with their music ministries, them understanding like, yo, we probably should have fixed this a long time ago. Now that we were forced to, kind of move into the now, we're there. But does this continue for years to come. Because what I would like to think is that, you know, people are going to see this and be like, yo, maybe we had it wrong for a long time.
Facts.
And actually take the time to invest. Like, where do you guys see that in the future? Was to see the church as it relates to music, considering all we've gone through over the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think, and you know, I'm a faith guy and I'm an optimist, right? Judging by what I've seen so far within the past 15 months, I believe that churches are going to now be more intentional. They're going to be more intentional about how they do music. Because let me tell y'all something, and y'all all know what I'm going to say. Y'all know it's true. That direct audio feed does not
humbling, ain't it?
Lie.
Humbling, ain't it?
Does not lie. And it will humble your butt real quick.
Mercy.
As a matter of fact, I have been humbled. I was humbled.
Man,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't even lead praise and worship at my church no more for that reason.
I'm like, what was I just playing? What was that?
Out of there, duh.
What was that? Right? So, and this is something that I really try to drive to my department. Like, yo, listen to this stuff because we go live every Sunday. So go back and listen every week. Every time we get up there, listen to what you did. Mm-hmm. Listen to how we sounded. Listen to how the entire thing felt. You know, so I think that it's gonna really not only inspire, but in some ways force people to be more intentional about what they do and how they do it. So that's probably gonna be all right. These rehearsals they're gonna have to be more than 45 minutes. And
the last time
these bands, as dope as y'all are, all right. Let's hook up. All right. Let's hook up before or after, whatever. But I think, you know, not to make light of it, but it's really gonna make people more intentional, make these ministries, these departments more intentional about what it is they do and how they do it and the quality by which they do it. Because yeah. This thing really did expose a lot of weaknesses in churches' music departments to where, you know, I believe that, you know, most churches do care about how they are seen, what they present, what they put out. I believe that most churches do care. Most ministries do care. And I think that, you know, this pandemic and 10 years from now, I believe that we'll see an improvement of the overall church experience.
For sure. And before you even come in, Pastor Jenkins, I want to be very clear that we're not down. I hope it doesn't come across, but our intention is not to down anyone. Because listen, when I talk about
not at all.
I'm talking about my church. You know, I know, like, we still have a long way to go, and a lot of churches still have a long way to go. Well, having a weakness is not necessarily a bad thing. When you find out it's a weakness,
it's not. It's not bad at all.
Being ignorant
makes us human.
A lot of us were ignorant to a lot of things. We just literally didn't know. A lot of churches didn't know. A lot of people are older, and you know, that's just not what we do. But I do want to hear your side of that, Pastor Jenkins.
Yeah, I believe, as Jeremy has said, many churches will be intentional. The question is, you know, let me preface this, what I'm about to say, by saying, during the pandemic, I have watched churches. So what I'm about to say is based off of the past 15 months, 14 months. I believe churches will be intentional, but I believe a lot of them will stay the same. And I will tell you why I say that. And I am for the church. Hear me. Mm-hmm. But it's the leaders, man. It's leaders. I'm finna be super candid right now. Like, I done saw churches during the pandemic who know they stuff whack because I talked to them. and ain't still did nothing. You haven't saw nothing change about their life in the whole 14 months. All right? Man. Nothing. Can I take it further? I'm going to press it a little further.
Let's go.
14 months. I've been on the phone with some of these people and say, man, you hear your stuff? They trail. Man, what can y'all do to help me out? Most they done did is went and bought one of them cords, and hooked that to their horrible system.
That iRig.
Oh, yeah.
That iRig.
They done spent.
Oh, no.
A lot of them done got money, man.
This is what I was waiting for.
They done got money. All of them that said, man, I want to up my music stuff, man. I want to get better equipment, man. I want to do this. They got all these aspirations and dreams, and God blessed them to get money, and they probably spent $500 to $1,000 on their equipment, and the rest went towards other things they're passionate about. I ain't going to even say it before. But I expected, with all these PPPs, all these SBA loans, I expected to see churches stuff get better, man, and a lot of them didn't. Mm-hmm. So now that showed me, man, you just talking. You just said I want it to be better. Man, you could have been and bought you some subs. You could have got a better camera. You're still using your iPad, man. You could have bought a one camera in 1 year. If y'all would have saved $50 a week. Oh man, come on, man. All right. So yeah. So my thought is that over the next 10 years, churches will be intentional. Some gonna stay the same, and guess what? Over 10 years, a lot of them gonna die, man, because they're not gonna be relevant. They're not going to be relevant. Yeah. Next 10 years, this is where the church going, and if they're not willing to invest, let me tell you what I see the church going. I see the church going into more professional quality and excellence, meaning that you just can't just have anybody. Like when we was growing up, man, I'd be up there down on the organ, man, playing in the wrong key and all like that. You know what I'm saying? Not that like I don't see in 10 years, you got to be good. You got to be good, or on your way to good, or something like that. But I don't believe. And so churches that don't value this, cause in a new church, you're gonna have to hire it. Like I see people like when the last. Like now, worship leaders get paid. Background singers get paid now. Now, if they won't even barely pay, if they won't pay a musician, a drummer, man, I'm not finna pay you to sing. Man, I'll get somebody out there. And so they mind can't comprehend that. They mind can't comprehend paying somebody every week to come sing. I use my daughter and them up here to sing. Some people don't get that, but I believe. This is where the church is going to be going. I believe, and I'm for it. That's my dream. I want a full staff, singers, everybody from getting paid, because there's someone you're gonna get your best quality work, man. You got excellent costs, man. Excellence costs.
Excellent costs. Excellent costs.
Oh God.
Excellent costs.
Excellent costs.
That is
yes, sir. Excellent costs.
Listen, man. This is why I love having guests, right? Because somebody else can do that, and not me, and they won't kill me for it. They ain't gonna kill the pastor.
Wish they would.
They ain't gonna kill the pastor. Listen,
they ain't gonna do that.
What both you guys said, and listen, there's a sad truth to that, because one of the things that I think we were talking about was, to the last point, Pastor Jenkins, like. Some of these joints are just gonna be gone. Like some of the and sadly enough, because
flat out gone.
They're not relevant. And this is one of the things, like in the situation that I'm in, right? It's gonna be one of those things that I'm just constantly working on to even get not even halfway to where we need to be, but because it's moving, I'm here for the ride. As long as it's moving, I'm here, because I always talk about, like, a lot of people would just up and leave churches, and I won't say that I haven't almost done that like 50 times. Mercy. However, my conscience and my integrity won't let me not do all that I can to make the situation better before I just up and bounce. And I don't think nobody can light a fire to me when it comes to that. Hot take, Larry. Okay, anyway, no, seriously. I'm going to do all I can to try to help and make the situation better. But unfortunately, everybody don't got that person, or just everybody's just ignorant, because it could be, a lot of people just completely closed off or blind to what's going on outside. They have no idea. Oh, you can like run it straight to the. Oh, you mean I can go from the board to? Oh, we can do that. You mean me holding this phone and just
Basic
going live
stuff.
from there? That ain't enough. Like people don't know.
They don't know the basics. Yeah.
Look, I love the people at my church, most of them, and when I talk to them, like some of the things they were completely clueless about. Why is Pastor spending $10,000 on this stuff? Because I told him. I asked him to. And I told him.
Right.
This is stuff we need. They are completely oblivious to like why this stuff is going on. Why are like, first of all, mind your business because it ain't your. Well, I mean, some of y'all ain't even paying your tithes. Pay your tithes.
Pay your tithes.
You know, it'd be the members that questioning what's being paid for. Them the ones don't pay their time. But no, listen, it's one of those things.
Okay.
This is why I'm always confident when I talk to my pastor too, because it's like, yo, hey man, you see what's coming through. But God bless you. But no, it's really important that we evolve or die. And unfortunately, some churches will. That's gonna be a joint. Some churches will not make it. I said this a while ago. Like they won't make it out of this pandemic. Some of them because of that, because of the inability to evolve. And I want everybody to evolve, and I want everybody to make it. But you know,
hey man, can I say something?
Absolutely.
I'm thankful for you to hear your passion and your tenacity and perseverance to stick by your church. Every pastor needs someone like you who will speak truth to power to them, especially when they don't get it all. I value that in my life. And man, I want to encourage you to keep doing that. Let me share with you because where sometimes you feel like you're not getting through, a lot of times you are. Mm-hmm. It's just, it takes time, man. Change is not easy and all like that. Give you a brief example. When I first started trying to introduce Lively Stone to credit cards and paying through cash apps and Giblifies and all like that, I had members say they're not writing their credit card number on no envelope. Somebody gonna steal it. Somebody gonna steal my identity. Right, exactly. Somebody gonna steal my identity. All of this stuff. All this stuff. Yep. But I stuck with it, man. If I would have been a weak leader and just trying to please people, man, like I know my brother who pastors a church in Dallas, Texas, when the pandemic hit, he didn't raise offering for 3 weeks. And when he got ready he met with his board, he was telling them about, the online stuff and he told them he needed money so they can go live and up his stuff. And this church had a lot of money, so it wasn't a money issue. And he was like, Trell, they was like, man, they don't see spending that money. But I told them if they don't do it, we're going to go another 3 weeks with no offering because we have no online presence. Wow. And I had my own members come to me. I don't know, Lisa, if you was on that Zoom, but Marilyn, all of them was on that call. They told me and it encouraged me that they was against it in the beginning. But now we're in this pandemic. We're so glad, Pastor, that you implemented this because we didn't see it. And had you not pushed this on us, we'll be in a financial crisis ourselves. But because I stayed with it, they was already used to it. When the pandemic hit, I didn't miss a beat because our members are already used to it. So I'm saying, but I had Ernie telling me, hey, Trell, boo, bro, we gotta go. We gotta push this online giving, man. We gotta push it. I know they don't like it. And he was on. So I had somebody pushing me and making me uncomfortable and having these tough conversations. So I wanted to say that to you, Lauren. Don't stop doing what you're doing, man.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
We need people like you, man.
I appreciate that. I'm going.
Absolutely.
Still going. Still going.
Still sticking.
Oh, my gosh. I'm full. This is a great episode, bro.
This is so good.
I mean, was there anything else that you had?
That covered... Honestly, I was sitting up there listening with within the first 15 minutes of it, a lot of that stuff Jeremy hit right on the head. I'm like, that's the entire episode of his response. Yeah, we're good. Where are we gonna go after this? It's those things that you sit and process through. But this was so many good nuggets that were dropped here. I think we could both say like a lot of what we feel and what we think, other people feel that way too.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we, created this podcast to have these tough conversations and hopefully be a catalyst for other people to have these tough conversations and hopefully change come out of it. And so, again, why not start with something that we're both invested in? And so,
I just love that.
Yeah, we're invested in our churches. We are invested in the music in our churches.
Yeah.
And you guys are too. And so, we thank you guys for coming to hang out with us.
Super dope.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I didn't know how this was going to
Thank y'all. This was amazing. I'm full too, y'all. This was great. I thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. This was amazing.
So really quick. And once again, Pastor Contrell Jenkins,
my dude.
Jeremy Allen,
my dude.
Like, it's episode 10.
This
is a great way to come back. And episode 10 is also a milestone for us because it's 10. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And so this is super dope to come back to. And yeah, we're good, bro. Really quick for listeners, you guys can mute or end. I don't know, whichever. We're gonna end though. For our listeners, really quick, we do got some things to say, right? But first, we'll just say what we got on. Rack City.
So we have something called
Merch Alert.
Jeremy and Pastor. We got something called Merch Alerts, right? So if you know of like any like Black-owned businesses that sell things like merch, like T-shirts, hats. He likes a lot of hats.
Yeah,
like anything.
absolutely.
Pins.
Absolutely.
We've been buying people's we spent the pandemic buying up so many T-shirts.
Facts.
And every week, we'll throw on, like I'm wearing God is Dope today, which I've worn before. Pastor, I wore one of Kelsey's crew necks once. We're just grabbing people's stuff, we're shouting them out. Again, this is like we're using our platform, which is small start now, but somebody's going to go back and watch this and say, hey, I want that T-shirt. Where did they get it from? And now that person has like, another business contact point. And so that's when we do our merch alerts.
Curtis made some money off of us, just to be clear.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, right now, I actually have Rack City, which is actually a non-for-profit. It's called Random Acts of Kindness. Mm-hmm. And they're just doing things. Started in Mobile, Alabama. It's ran by Shaka, or not Shaka, Sean DeShields, she goes by. It's actually, this is my cousin. And they just have some merch from their site. You can go to their IG page, but they're doing a lot of, I can't say that word, but what is it?
I don't even
it's like
know.
Charity, but what is it? Philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
Oh.
Yeah, philanthropy.
Ooh, y'all know I ain't go to college. But yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff like that. So,
oh my goodness.
Go to Rack City _, what is it? NFP. I believe is what it is. We'll put it up on the screen for sure. But you can go ahead and get new merch. She's actually dropping new stuff on Juneteenth.
Oh, dope.
So just keep an eye out for that. Lisa's wearing God is Dope.
I'm wearing God is Dope. And if y'all get the text messages like I do, first of all, whoever, and I say this every time I wear their shirts, whoever runs the marketing point,
stop
texting me at midnight about this $4.99 T-shirt that I only got 7 minutes to buy that I'm actually gonna buy.
Oh no,
I need to work on shipping prices though, but they powered during the pandemic. I've never been so. I'm like,
show me the way.
I got $50 and they want $12 from me. I'm buying it. Like,
that's facts. That's facts.
So,
because I have no problem paying for a T-shirt for $3.99, $4.99,
and $7 shipping. Y'all are out of control.
Okay,
but I'm mad, and I still bought it. So who's stupid?
Look,
but yeah.
So shop with them. Look, it's episode 10. Everybody who didn't see the video last week. Everybody that didn't see the video last week is because it doesn't exist. No, I take that back. It does exist. It's gonna be on Patreon. By the way, BRSP is going to Patreon. Permanently. So episode 10 will be on YouTube still. I'm thinking maybe episode 11 will still be on YouTube. Maybe.
But we are transitioning.
But we are moving to Patreon because we don't want to do it for free no more.
Fair.
Well, the audio will still be for free. Have a blast on Spotify. And have a blast on Apple Music. Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, all that good stuff. Amazon. But yeah, the video, we gonna pay. We gonna pay for that. And me and Lisa are gonna subscribe first, so we gonna pay ourselves.
Straight up.
But it's gonna be on Patreon. We're gonna throw the link up soon, and we'll actually announce it officially soon. But I mean,
awesome.
Support, man.
Sounds good, man. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
Nobody gives up support like these two people right here. I guarantee you. And a lot of you, I know I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars with you guys.
Man.
Okay?
Y'all show
that's all.
Everything.
And I love everybody. Just love us a little more, too. Love us a little, too. Episode 10.
For sure.
Done.
Contrell Jenkins. Pastor Contrell
Jenkins. I love you, Pastor. Thank you so much.
Love you. Thank you.
Jeremy Allen.
Love you, man. Really
Jeremy.
Good.
Love y'all. Pastor.
Good hearing from you,
great talking.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, man. Great talking with you, man. Yes, sir.
Great.
Absolutely.
I'm Lawless Lisa.
This is the Backroom Speaks podcast, the brave space for creatives.
Cause find me another one, man. I mean, you can't find it.
Sheesh. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can talk about it.